Welcome everybody to another episode of The Baron and the Bean. Unfortunately, once again, there will be no Bean today. She's not much of an Xbox player, and the showcase that we'll be covering today did not really have a lot of stuff that would either A, be appropriate for her, or B, to be honest, have stuff that she's super interested in. Overall, the showcase was pretty dense. It covered, by our count, about 30 different titles over about an hour and 20 minutes or so. So it was real rapid, just quick fire, trailer after trailer. We actually had minimal interaction from the humans we normally see involved with Xbox, which did show up in little spurts. It was Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond. Given all the bad press currently surrounding Microsoft, this was probably a good idea. Overall, there was a lot of rumors coming into this. There was a lot of speculation, especially around new handheld, which was not announced. There were a couple hardware refreshes in the form of expanded hard drive and colors, but that was about it. Most of the games that were shown graphically looked great, although how much of it was actually gameplay kind of varied game to game. We need to see the final products, and given Xbox's track record, to be honest, we kind of just need to get our hands on them before we truly know what they are. We'll also say that most of the stuff, again, shown in this press conference is not stuff that we normally are interested in. So we picked out the 10 that stuck out the most to us. There are a couple of Bean picks in here, and there's definitely a lot more fantasy than shooter. So I think you can see a little bit of our bias here. Without further ado, here's the 10 games from the Xbox showcase that we found the most interesting. Doom: The Dark Ages. This looks pretty awesome. Doom is really cool. If you've never played it, it's a really fast-paced shooter with nearly perfect controls. I've not always been the biggest Doom fan, but the medieval settings and weaponry look really cool and creative in terms of how they get ammo. There was some sort of shotgun that seemed like it crunched up skulls and shot it out in a scattershot formation. That was, again, I keep using the word cool, but that's pretty much what it was. The Captain America type shield with teeth around the edges that you can throw was super awesome. I never really thought about using a shield like that in Doom, but I kind of want to now. I didn't play the last Doom, but this one definitely has my attention. Dragon Age: The Veilgaurd. Maybe drop the. I think Dragon Age Veilgaurd actually sounds a little bit cooler, but that doesn't change the fact that we are big BioWare fans here. Bean and I actually just finished playing Mass Effect 1 and 2, the legendary remakes. So much fun. So many characters that just, to this day, many years after the initial release, just still love. Their track record recently with Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem were not great, and so they kind of need to earn back some of that trust. If this trailer is anything to go off of, this could rekindle some of that excitement. The party members they introduced seem to have a really diverse spectrum of talents, which could lead to some really fun gameplay and group dynamics. We didn't really see much, if any, gameplay footage though. And I believe this game is supposed to be coming out in 2024, so hopefully they'll be showing more later on. It's almost the exact opposite problem of Fable, in that this game is coming out this year, we don't know a ton about it, whereas Fable comes out next year, and I'm almost getting to the point where, okay, just go quiet and finish the game. South of Midnight. I wasn't sure how I felt about this last year. Kind of saw a trailer, I was like, okay, got an interesting environmental concept, let's maybe wait until we see some more. Well, we saw some more. My goodness, is that art style great. I really love the art style. I can't go on enough about how phenomenal that game looks. I don't quite know how I felt about the gameplay they showed. Maybe it's a little early, but I will give them credit, and at least they showed something. And it could be early on, and maybe we're just not seeing a lot of what there will be by the time the game comes out. One of the cooler things they showed in the trailer was after you beat a boss in a certain area, the landscape around you changed. This is not the first time we've ever seen that in this type of game. However, it looked, again, phenomenal. This game has a really unique art style, and I'm very, very curious to see how good they can make this by the time it comes out. It could be a real gem. Metal Gear Solid Delta was the next game on the list. I was way late to the Metal Gear franchise. I didn't even start playing until the original Snake Eater. It had always been around, I always knew about it, and when I dove in, I actually didn't understand that I was playing as Naked Snake and not Solid Snake, so it took me a while to wrap my head around what was going on. That said, this game looks like a much more refined version of that original game that we had. It looks like the close quarter combat was a little clunky. I don't know if that was just maybe how they recorded it for the trailer, or if it's just because it's in the early stages. This too doesn't look like it's going to be out until next year. But it'll be great to jump back into Metal Gear for the first time since Phantom Pain for me personally. Age of Mythology Retold. This is one of those ones that Bean definitely is going to be interested in. And to be honest, it caught me off guard. We've been hearing about an Age of Empires remake or new game for quite some time. So seeing Age of Mythology actually be announced was really cool. Bean being such a big fan of mythology, this is a great chance to introduce her to the series in general. Not sure if it would be something that actually will catch, but nonetheless, having Norse, Greek, and Egyptian pantheons is a good place to start. There could be more announced as it goes on, or expansions, or we'll see how that goes. It also should be noted that a majority of what was shown will be coming to Game Pass. It seems day and date for most of the stuff. We'll see what actually happens. But I do love that you can actually try the game out before going and getting a physical copy. Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark. What can I say? We all knew this would eventually be coming. I thought it was kind of funny because even though I was expecting Perfect Dark to show up at some point, I didn't actually think I'd be that excited about it. However, when the main character lands and she removes her helmet, the Baroness couldn't help but laugh when I said Joanna, as if I'd seen a friend for the first time in a long time, and I wasn't expecting to see her. The gameplay actually looked pretty interesting. It looks like some sort of combination of Watchdog and Mirror's Edge, and it could be really cool if pulled off properly. We did just pull our 64 out of retirement. Maybe it's time to revisit the original in preparation for the next one, although I don't think I'll be going back to Perfect Dark Zero. Fable. Where to start with Fable? First things first, this doesn't look like the Fable that I remember, but that might just be fine. From what we can see, it looks great. I don't think there's many games in the showcase that I saw that didn't look great. And the humor in this particular trailer looked like it was dialed back considerably compared to what we've been seeing. I'm kind of getting to the point where I hope this is the last we see of it until it's closer to being released. There is something to be said about overexposure, and I think we're getting close to that point with this game. That said, big fans of fantasy here. As much good fantasy as we can get our hands on, we love it. And we look forward to hopefully something humorous and exciting in the world of Albion. Hopefully next year, as long as it's not delayed. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? I mean, Indiana Jones, right? What more needs to be said? Except, it's made by the guys that made Wolfenstein. If there's ever been a perfect combination of two franchises, I guess one is a franchise and one is a game maker, but that seems like a match made in heaven. Nobody knows Nazis better than Wolfenstein creators Machine Games, and these two seem to fit perfectly together. As I've stated, I'm not the biggest fan of first person, but what's shown looks pretty good. Looks like the high quality you would expect out of a Machine Games creation, so I'm still pretty excited. Hopefully they'll treat this better than they did the recent movie. And so far from what we've seen in the cutscenes, I think that will be the case. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I'm definitely looking forward to that when it does come out. Avowed. Alas, another fantasy entry. Yes, I know. In all fairness, this is a game that I've been excited about since they very first announced it. I don't even know at this point. 4 years ago? 5 years ago? It definitely doesn't look anything like it does now. But the idea of Obsidian making a Skyrim, looking game in the Pillar of Eternity franchise, you can go ahead and count me in on that. It's one of the few games that does seem to be coming out this year, which is a big bonus. It would have probably been the game I was most excited for, except for the final entry on our list, which I was not expecting. Gears of War E-Day. Well, when it started, my first thought was, okay, here we go, Gears 6. I think that's probably what I was expecting, either that or some sort of Marcus Phoenix collection. As the trailer went on, I was kind of confused. I was looking at this guy and I'm like, man, this looks like a young Marcus Phoenix. This is kind of odd. I don't know who this character is. I guess I haven't finished Gears 5 yet, so in all fairness, maybe it's someone that was introduced. Kept thinking maybe it was Jace, although he didn't really look like Jace. So I was intrigued from the moment the trailer started. But once the Mad World song began quietly in the background, and you see Dom help you up and hand you a bandana, I knew we were in for something completely different. As I said, I've played every Gears game so far, with the exception of finishing 5, and I've spent I don't even know how many hours in Horde mode. This game has got me really excited. Here's to hoping that Baird and A-Train join the fun next year when the game releases. Overall, I mean, Xbox has been doing a good job the past couple years, at least in terms of showing tons of titles and not really interrupting the flow of their presentation. This year really wasn't all that different. It looks like a maybe disappointing 2024, and compared to some of the rumors we were expecting, I've been hearing maybe a Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey. I don't know about remake, but maybe some sort of remaster or re-release. Ultimately, we're a little disappointed in some of the things we didn't hear. But credit where credit is due, there was some really cool announcements, a couple surprising announcements, and we're cautiously optimistic to truly excited about some of these titles. Here's the hoping Microsoft can actually pull off a good portion of what was shown. There probably are some more titles that they haven't talked about that they'll discuss further down the line as well. Overall, what did you think of the showcase? Did it meet or exceed your expectations? Or worse, did it not meet your expectations? What stole the show? Was there something you wish had been there that wasn't? Let us know in the comments below. And once again, thanks for watching The Baron and the Bean, the Xbox Showcase. We will hopefully be back very soon to cover the Nintendo Direct sometime this month. Bean will definitely be here for that. We've already released a predictions episode, and so if you're interested in the Nintendo Direct, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, we will see you next time.